Well, I was going to call Dick's Drive-Ins a Seattle institution, but after having opened the Edmonds location, then Kent, then Bellevue, it has really gone beyond a Seattle institution to a Puget Sound area institution, and that legacy is expanding today with the opening of the newest Dick's Drive-In in Federal Way at the Federal Way Commons. And I am pleased, as always, to be joined by Dick Spady's granddaughter and the president of Dick's Drive-In, Jasmine Donovan. Jasmine, as always, I'm so excited to talk to you because it's no secret I have a great love for rolling up to a Dick's and grabbing a deluxe and a fry and a sometimes chocolate shake, sometimes strawberry shake. We all have our go-to Dick's order. Tell me a little bit. Let me start by asking you why this location, because I noticed it's kind of close to the Kent location.
It is. And thanks so much for having me on, Ryan. We're so excited to be opening in Federal Way. And the story of this location actually goes back to our very first time searching for the right location down in the South Sound. So we did our customer poll back in 2017. We had 170,000 votes from customers in the region saying where we should go, south or east. We had already built our north location in Edmonds. And this was one of our top sites. We ended up building in Kent. This site was not available at that time, but it came back on our radar as potentially being possible. And we're just really grateful to our landlords here at Merlone Geyer. It was one of those things that just was kind of meant to be. They had something that didn't come together, and we just happened to hear about it, and we got together and made this location possible. It pretty unexpectedly for us. And then we were able to get this site under construction and built and ready to open today down in Federal Way at the Commons. So we first saw this site when we were touring a bunch of different cities, and I was actually riding in the car with Mayor Farrell around Federal Way with my dad, looking at different sites, and we really loved this one in Federal Way. So we're so pleased to finally be opening here.
That is fantastic. Now, I believe this is the second one like Bellevue, where there's room for people to drive up because it is Dick's Drive-In, but it's attached to a shopping center. Am I right about that?
This one is a standalone building. So Crossroads was the first and so far only that's attached to a bigger building. This is part of the Federal Way Commons, but it's its own standalone building out in the parking lot. When you drive down Pacific Highway and you cross the intersection with 320th, we'll be right there. It's impossible to miss us. And we will be waving to you and looking forward to serving you a burger, fry, and steak.
Well, then let me ask the question I was about to ask a different way, because you've attached to the Crossroads location. You're at a shopping center like the Commons. The one in Kent is in a pretty busy shopping center, where like the one I used to be my go-to, Lake City, is just on its own. Same with like
Mhm.
Holman Road. Have you seen an added benefit of having locations where there's even more traffic like that? Not that Dix needs the traffic.
Absolutely. And those locations were built in a very different time. So my grandfather built those with his original two partners. The entire region looked so different. And I found a few years ago the most amazing map of the Seattle area and region from the 1950s with census data written on it and his circles of the different areas that he thought would be a good fit. It was important to them when they were finding sites that Dick's Drive-Ins would be on your way to or from home. So it's really important to be part of your natural path of travel. And some of these shopping centers are really great sites for that. Also, our modern restaurants are a little bit bigger than our original restaurants. So they have two grills and two fryers, six windows instead of four. And it just allows us to serve more customers and faster. So these bigger locations need a little bit more space than say like a Holman Road or a Lake City type of location. And I love both of those locations. The Holman Road location was the one where I worked as a crew member when I was a teenager. And it's the one where I take my kids And it's where I went after my husband and I got engaged. So it will always have a special place in my heart.
See, and this is one of the things I love about Dick's. It's not just that the food is good and that it's, fun to take a cruise by Dick's, or hey, we've been out doing whatever, let's swing by Dick's and grab a bite. There are always these stories, and you even have your own. You're the president of the company, and you worked there as a teenager. You talked about going there with your husband after you got engaged. If I had a nickel for every one of those stories I've heard from people around this area, and like I say, that's really part of the charm, and I think it's great that you're included in that. You're part of that. It's even though you're part of the family. But now I have to ask, so did your dad make you work there as a teenager? Was like that part of the Spady family coming up process?
So I'll say yes and no. So there is an expectation that everyone in the family work in the business at some point, ideally, when they're in high school or in college. I also really wanted to. And the first time that I worked there, I actually voluntarily wanted to work with a different last name so that no one would know that I was related to the family. And it was just a really amazing experience. And I didn't have any idea at the time that I was going to come back and work for the company and later in a different capacity. I was just there learning about the business. I enjoyed the job very much. It's a challenging job. It's very physically demanding and high paced, but a lot of fun. And our managers are so amazing at keeping that fun atmosphere. And being inside the restaurant today brings back such amazing memories for me. And as we're getting everything started up and ready to go and feeling that excitement, our crew are really excited down here to get this restaurant open.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a moment, but now I'm a chronic oversharer, so, my viewers here will have to bear with me as always. But I worked for my dad on four separate occasions throughout my life, before high school and college. And, we think about it now, and we both really treasure those times. So it's great that you've had that. But I also love that you got a little undercover boss going there. I mean, you weren't really the boss, but like you kind of snuck in and nobody knew what was going on. So that is super cool. So you had mentioned the crew getting ready here. What do you need to do when you're opening a new store? I imagine you would get some help from some of the people who are already trained, but you have to have people who are close by. What do you do to crew up a new shop?
So what we've found is that it's best to start hiring folks pretty much as soon as we break ground. So we broke ground in November. We started hiring then. And those employees trained mostly in our Kent location, which, as you mentioned earlier, is not too far away by miles. It's a kind of a bit of a drive, actually, even though it's deceptively close by mileage. And so a number of them trained in Kent, a few of them trained up in our Crossroads location and some of our Seattle locations. And so no one's coming into this opening never having worked for us before. Everyone here has trained with us and has some level of experience. I would say most, if not all of them, have pass that first skills test that we have, what we call our 12-week skills test. And then we also have some guest stars, some all-star performers from some of our other restaurants coming down to help out. It's going to be super busy when we open, and we really want to put our best foot forward and serve as many customers who come out to see us as we can. So we'll bring down some help from our other locations that are our best, fastest, highest quality folks, and they will help everyone get as many burgers, fries, and shakes out the window as we can.
So the other thing I was thinking about, because you might recall, the one grand opening I got to go to was Kent. And the thing I noticed was, and I kind of made a joke about it, it's like a new car. The deluxe had that new grill flavor, which is good. Like I would recommend, I'm gonna call myself a Dick's aficionado. I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna go out on a limb. I would recommend trying that because it's a little different, and then going back when the grill is, as I would call it, broken in. is seasoned and ready to go, because there is a little bit of a difference. And look, they're both good. Okay, it's not that one is better than the other, but I highly recommend that experience. Do you notice that at the new stores? Like, can you tell? I could totally tell.
I can tell, but not quite as much as you think. We do try to run a number of cycles in the day before the opening so that it tastes as close to what finished product will look like. The burgers you're going to get during the opening weekend when it's so busy, they're going to be so fresh and they're just so great. I mean, all of our burgers should always be delicious and fresh, 100% satisfaction guarantee all the time. So if you ever get a burger that's not like that, please bring it back. But it will be, if there's something just special that, and it I think impacts how flavors stand out to you, being part of the excitement of the grand opening and all the fun and hanging out with your friends in line. And we'll have a bunch of fun activations at the site and music and a photo booth and face painting and bubbles. And it's just going to be really a lot of fun for everybody. And we might have some special cars show up at some point. So it's going to be really great. And those experiences also might impact how you taste things. So it'll be very unique. And we're very lucky that our customers continue to decide to make special memories with us and our food. And then every time they get another burger fry shake, they get to revisit those memories. Taste and smell are linked to memory recall in the brain. And it's just one of those really cool things that we get to do, being a 70-year-old company that's served a high quality product for several generations now.
Yeah, and reminder, that 70th anniversary, for those of you who might not realize, is coming up very soon. So there will be another celebration. Now, you touched on it a little bit, and at the risk of having you repeat yourself a little bit, I mean, I think about that Kent grand opening, and it never occurred to me that my excitement might have been what affected my brain and my taste buds there. But like that one, there was a marching band, and people were just all kinds of people gathered around. This one, you say you're having face painting and a photo booth and some other stuff. And as I understand it, there's some special people going to be involved in the ribbon cutting.
Yes, we'll have lots of local VIPs here to help us cut the ribbon. And most especially, we will have all of our orange ticket winners. So we have been doing contests around the Federal Way area. My brother's been going out there, and we do this special coin flip game. We do a little tease on social media about where we're going to be. We did a memory contest online in case there's anyone who couldn't make it out to that. And we'll have select customers who get to be up front with us and cut the ribbon and be the first in line to have one of the first burgers out of the Federal Way location. So we'll have other elected officials and friends and family up front, VIPs, local VIPs that'll be here. So it's going to be a really great time. We're going to have music. We'll have lots of activities on Thursday. We'll do some more activities on Friday during the lunchtime, and then a lot of activities on Saturday. And it's all on our website and our social media channels. Check it out. We have lots of fun planned, and we're very excited to be opening this location in the summer instead of the winter this time. You mentioned you were at the Kent location opening. It was raining sideways by the end of the evening on our opening day. We're really excited that today it is going to be sunny and beautiful and much more fitting weather for the opening.
Absolutely. Although I felt like the weather was just fine when I was out there in Kent. Didn't stop me from waiting nearly an hour with a giant grin on my face, talking nonstop to the people around me, waiting in line to get my hands on a deluxe like I was never going to see one again. So and more than one for the record there that day. So had to really jump on the bandwagon there. That is fantastic. And it's funny too, with thinking about that contest and thinking about all the different locations. And, you had mentioned that your grandfather sort of mapped it out because he wanted them to be on on the way home. Lake City used to be right on my drive home. I literally would have to pull off, half a block to get to it. And one of the ways the maps take me to work sometimes when traffic is bad is past Holman Road. And now our office is a block away from the Queen Anne location. So I hit two within a matter of minutes. So it's, they're easy to hit. But it made me think, like, maybe the next contest should be like a scavenger hunt. You go and you have to buy like one item from each location and then get like a stamp or something in a book, or do the Dick scavenger hunt. So, and I won't, don't worry, I won't ask for any fees, finder's fees or anything if you do that, but let me know. I'll be the first guinea pig to test it out. If you want to do something like that, I will be good to go. Jasmine, what else do we
We
go
love
ahead?
that
Sorry.
very much. No, we love that very much. Before COVID, we had something we did every year called the walkathon. We had a group of people that actually walked to every Dick's Drive-ins and had special shirts. They'd check off everything they got at each one. So sounds like a great hybrid event, taking that walkathon forward.
Oh
So
my goodness. I can tell you because I know this by heart. I live 11 minutes by car from the Edmonds location. You ask me how I
wonderful.
know, it's because I'm a regular there, and I will regularly check the GPS just to test my drive time there. I don't know if I'm going to be walking to get over to Edmonds, but whatever it takes to get me there is fine. So, Jasmine, anything else we need to think about as we get ready to open the new location?
We're we're so excited to have this location opening today. We really hope you'll come out and see us. We're at the Federal Way Commons on Pacific Highway South, just south of the intersection with 320th. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have music. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have photo booth. We're going to have special cars. We're going to have all sorts of fun. We'll have our pop-up apparel with special Federal Way grand opening merchandise. You'll only be able to get there, and it's going to be just a really great time. It's going to be a party, and we really hope to see you. And looking forward to serving burgers, fries, and shakes and memories to everyone in Federal Way.
And I am looking forward to that excited new grill deluxe that I'm going to be grabbing when I swing by that location too. Jasmine Donovan, the president of Dick's Drive-In. Thanks for joining me, Jasmine. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ryan.